Hi everyone, my name is Erin Elizabeth Weinberg. Thank you so much for choosing to be here with me today. Welcome if it's your first time, and welcome back if you've been here before. Today we have a new moon in Taurus, so this is your new moon pick a card reading. Reminder that new moons are about planning intentions, requesting what you want, just kind of making space for new energy to come into your life, to flow into your life. And so with this new moon today, with this reading, there's a message for you, whichever pile you pick, and then you can use that to reflect on the things you want to call into the life and into your life, and the things you want to have happen in your life. Okay, so I've inserted a picture. I have 3 groups for you. Go ahead and take a look, and you can choose by the number. You can choose by the affirmation on top. You can choose by anything, which one ever calls to you, and all the timestamps are below, and I will see you at the reading you choose. Hello, everyone. This is for everyone who picked group number 1. So you picked the I Express My Love card. Very beautiful. So just as a reminder, new moons are about calling in new energy, setting intentions for things you want moving forward. So some part of you has connected with this message of I Express My Love. So maybe thinking about maybe you need to express your love to yourself. Maybe you need to express it to someone you know. Maybe you need to do it through your actions, through your words, even through energetically. You can do this. You can send some prayers or loves to someone, including yourself, which is thinking about ways I express my love is resonating with you. Okay, so like usual, I'm going to start with your tarot, and then I'll clarify with your oracle at the end. And just a reminder again, new moons, you want to call in new energy, set intentions. If you're not watching this in the new moon, this is a timeless reading, so you can watch it whenever, and there will probably be a message that is resonating for you during this time. Okay, so like I said, we'll start with your tarot. Okay, opening, we have Ace of Swords. And then we have 7 of Swords in reverse. Then we have the Emperor, Hierophant, Ace of Cups, 2 of Wands, 8 of Cups, 7 of Pentacles, and 4 of Pentacles. Okay, so where do we want to start? Okay, so I feel like starting with this new moon, in the recent past, there's been a boundary that's been set, which is Ace of Swords. And then what that has resulted in is a little bit of something annoying stopped happening. Okay, so 7 of Swords upright is about like maybe a little bit of cheating, or maybe a little bit of getting played, or something like this. And so when you have the Ace of Swords right next to this, I feel like Ace of Swords, this boundary energy was set, and then somehow this ended in some way, shape, or form. So there was a little bit of a cutting off. There was an ending point. There was something happened where this energy wasn't as, you were able to set a boundary and then clear something out of that. So you were able to put an end to something, say no to something going on with that. And then what came from that is, look at these 2 cards together, the Emperor and the Hierophant right next to each other. Look at that. So, these cards aren't the exact same energy, but there's definitely similar energies here. It's definitely energy around some traditional energy. It's energy around being in your power. It's energy around like ruling from a cool, calm, and collected place. So this is energy like, you set this boundary, and then this thing ended, and now you're able to kind of like recollect yourself and kind of hold in some of this more traditional energy for yourself. So just really owning that, owning your power. This isn't like chaotic power. As you can see, like both people are seated pretty calmly. Their body language is sharing some like peaceful energy. So this isn't really about, going into chaotic anything. This is kind of like regrouping energy. This is a little bit about like, okay, now that I ended this thing, how can I reconnect to my power? And this is, again, with these 2 right next to each other, I think this is a confirmation that if you were thinking about, checking in with yourself or moving forward, or what you want to do with your life, right? Like not a big, what am I going to do with my life type of thing, but you can look at this energy and really understand, okay, like I set this boundary, I cut this toxic thing out of my life. So who am I really when I reconnect to my power? Who am I when I'm so powerful? Who do I want to be? How do I want to be moving forward? What can come up for me? Any of that. So this is just really connecting to that powerful energy that we all have inside of us, and just feeling really clear about it, really abundant, really knowing when you want to say no to certain things or when you want to say yes to something, but just really checking in with, this is who I want to be and how I want to be. And this is what I'm going to do now that I've set the boundary and like kind of cut out maybe something toxic in your life. Could be a person, could be a habit, could be a thought process, anything. But this is just really, again, both of these together very powerful. Just really connecting to how can I show up for myself? How can I be the best version of myself that I want to be? Because look what happens when you do that. Right at the center of your reading is Ace of Cups, right? This is abundant energy. This is an overflow. This is surplus. This is, so much energy being poured into your life and who you are. So this is not just about physical abundance, but this is about energetic abundance. This is about feeling like you are enough. This is like feeling like you have enough things. This is like feeling you can say yes to things around you. So this is really energy of kind of owning that within yourself and just being like, okay, this is who I am. These are my, when you remember your power and you are taking care of within yourself, then all of that continues to flow through your body and continues to allow you to be connected to your higher power, to kind of give you that oomph to move forward, to give you that focus to move forward, to just kind of help guide you to the right and perfect things for you. And a lot of that is overflowing. That's what abundance energy is this overflow energy of like, I know this, and this thing is clear for me. This is what I want to do. This is helpful for me. Like all of that is very, very Ace of Cups energy. And because that is the theme of your reading, it seems like there's like you're in this cycle with this new moon of like cutting something toxic out, remembering who you are, reclaiming your power, and then you have abundance. So you're kind of in this place now of you can have anything you want. You have to choose something. Basically, you're at a crossroads of making a decision with something. And so with this new moon, you can really think about, what do I want to call into my life? How do I want to call it in? What does it look like? With just really remembering that you do have this overflow. You have a lot of abundance there for you. Because when we look forward for the second half of your cards laid out here, this is also about choice. So this is about making a decision. This is again, pairs really nicely with the Ace of Cups energy. You see the person, they have the world in their hands. They have, literally looking like a gateway, these two wands here, looking forward and deciding, this is what's for me. This is what I'm going to choose for myself. This is what is something that's going to serve me or not serve me, So this is about choice and decision making. And then I think, when we look at the last three cards of your reading, we have Eight of Cups, and then Six of Pentacles, sorry, and Four of Pentacles. So I think this is a lot of fear energy. There's a lot of fear around whatever this decision that you're making or have to make, or, like maybe you're still wounded from some of this thing that you had to like set the boundary around before. But yeah, this is a lot of fearful energy, right? So like Eight of Cups, it's a lot about loss. It's a lot about having to walk away from something, having to like say no to something or choose something different. And so it's very sad. It's very like letting something go that feels very painful. And then Six of Pentacles is, in imbalance of power. It's about having to ask for help or having to, like with these two cards around it, just feeling like you can't take care of yourself. You can't show up for yourself. And then this Four of Pentacles is like a blocked heart space, right? You can see this person really has his heart center blocked here. And so we can see just a lot of fear with this decision that you're thinking about making. So I think with this new moon, you can really try and tap into the energy of like, okay, if this is the choice I have to make, you can ask your higher power, you can ask spirit, you can ask God, like, please remind me that the choice I can make that I want to choose for myself, like, can be something that comes from the highest good for me and for everyone involved. It can be something that does serve me and everyone involved. Like sometimes we think we want something, but the logistics of how can block us from certain things. So it is about setting your intentions and praying and asking for what you want, coming from a place of knowing like you don't have to focus on these fear thoughts. Like it's okay to have them, and we're not, fear is normal. It's a healthy human thing. It tries to keep us safe. So we're not saying like you shouldn't have these thoughts, but we just want to think about, you don't want fear to get to the point that you are so fearful that you can't even think about what you want. Because I feel like in the beginning of this reading, you had a lot of efforts to set these boundaries, to say no to something. You connected back to who you are, your power, and now you're in a state of abundance and decision making for how you want to move forward with your life in one area. But there's a lot of, oh my God, what if this happens? What if that happens? What if this? What if that? There's a lot of fear coming up. And the best way to work through fear is to remember, like, listen to it. You don't want to shame yourself for having fear, but just listen to it and then be like, okay, if this is what my fearful thoughts are, how can I move forward to kind of work through some of those things that are coming up for me. So just remembering that, you wouldn't be given this desire or this abundance or this these gifts you have, you wouldn't be given those if you weren't supposed to share them with people. So this is just going to be about looking at, what are my fears, what am I afraid of, all of that coming up for you, and how can you move forward and through it. So again, with this new moon, I think you can ask for some intentions, ask for the highest good, ask for things to really, like, just work out in a way that is not just for you, but know that, if you got pushed out of something or you went through something toxic before, you don't have to find a lesson there, but you can remind yourself that, like, you handled that before, like, you handled the situation, you move forward. And so now you do have this abundance, because what I'm hearing is, because this is the theme of your reading, like, don't get distracted by all this fearful stuff. Only abundance is real. All this overflow, your soul, you probably wanted to give up and then you didn't, right? So this is all flowing through you right now. But this is, just remember this Ace of Cups energy and tap into that. And just remember that, like, there can be a creative possibility. There can be a way things can work out, even if you can't connect to it right now from, like, your ego mind, which is just, again, part of the human experience. Okay, let's look at your oracle cards. Okay, there's a lot in here, so we'll start with this one. So this is the Heron. So this is from the Birdkin Messages deck. I love this deck. So it's a 26 on there, which is an 8, if that's a significant number for you. But Heron is about refinement energy. So this is about, like, as we go through life and our lessons get deeper or more challenging or whatever for us, like, this is where we have to fine tune our thing. So maybe we learned our lesson previously in a certain way, and the way that we learned that lesson in the past isn't really, like, we have to try something different this time. The lesson's coming in a different way. So Heron really represents refinement. This is really looking at, like, again, when you choose something moving forward, when you're deciding what you want to do, it's going to be, okay, you don't have to do the exact same things you did in the past. You're different. You have life experience. You have these new situations that you didn't have previously. And so really, refining your skills and knowing that this is a time for you to move forward and to try something new. And, there's unlimited things we can learn about ourselves on Earth School, right? And so part of that is knowing, okay, I need to readjust this. I can let it go. I can change in this way, and just kind of refining your energy and getting more clear of, like, this used to work for me. Now it doesn't. So what am I going to do now? I think, okay, let me just go one at a time, because there's, like, I see one, then I want to do another one, all this. Okay, so we have Pillar of Light. Your vibration is rising. You are the Oracle. So I love that. I feel like this is really big Ace of Cups energy. Even on this card, you can see, like, some of that rainbow energy flowing down, and the Ace of Cups mirrors here, just like the water flowing, all of that stuff. So Pillar of Light, your vibration is rising, you are the Oracle. So that just means, some of these tests we go through, these things we move away from, they're there so we can get to the next layer of our life. And so part of that is knowing that any magical, amazing thing that has happened in your life, like, the common denominator has always been you. So just really trusting that, and really knowing, you don't need to do anything else besides be yourself and listen to yourself to be able to move forward to this next part of your life. And then going on with that, we have Hawthorn, we have Sacred. So again, just really, I want to emphasize this energy. You are sacred. Maybe this thing in the beginning of your reading was, like, really traumatic. It didn't feel good, made you doubt yourself, but you are sacred. You do have so much to give. You are a beautiful, magnificent child of God, of the universe, whatever you subscribe to. And just know that you are sacred. You are here for a reason. You have things to offer. And then this one, so financial healing, Yellow Lily, your money struggles are a thing of the past. Be open to all avenues to receiving, and you'll be provided for in a new way. So I think this is interesting because we have the 2 Pentacles at the end with some of the fear around it, and Pentacles has to do with all abundance, but of course part of that means financial abundance. So if maybe one of the fears you have is around financial stuff, like financial healing, like maybe you won't be able to provide for yourself, or maybe you need to hold on to everything really tightly, like really fearful energy with money, this could just be a message for you to think about, especially it says, be open to all avenues of receiving, so when we talk about creative possibilities, or we talk about things happening that maybe we didn't think were there for us, just remember to stay open, remember to allow things to come to you, and really honor like some of your fear stories. So it could be with this new moon, like setting the intention to rewrite your relationship with money, to not judge yourself if you have fearful thoughts about money. Maybe you come from poverty consciousness, just the way you grew up, or things like that, which is fine. It's no judgment. It happens to all of us. But just knowing that financial healing don't worry. I mean, we have to be practical, okay? But, you don't need to live in fear around money stuff, is what I'm hearing from this, and maybe some of the fears that came up around this part of the reading too. And then these two go together. So I'm going to put them together. So we have hope is the conduit for miracles. Very beautiful. And then we have leap of faith, take a risk and put your heart's true desire into action. So leap of faith and hope is a kind of miracle. So this, I think, again, just really represents like this abundance, making a choice type of thing, right? And when we're talking about being fearful of making a decision, or maybe choosing the wrong thing or whatever, none of that's real, right? We choose, and then something happens, and then we have life experience, and then we get to choose again. So you can never choose wrong. Anything that's for you can't miss you, and it's going to keep coming around until you match up with it. And so I think this is really saying, remember this Ace of Cups energy, this abundance energy that is here for you. And remember that like you can have hope if you're not sure how something is going to work out or the logistics of it. Just remember, it's more important for you to have hope and hold space for that than it is for you to know the exact process of how everything's going to work out. And then leap of faith, take a risk and put your heart's true desire into action. Again, just listen to your heart when it's time to make this decision. Nothing in life is guaranteed, and the longer that we decide to make a decision or not make a decision, it might be harder for us to connect to what the right decision for us is. And so remembering not to judge yourself, but just really hold space. And, when it is time to do something new or different, if we don't know exactly how it's going to go, it can be a little scary. And that's why, again, this leap of faith here can just remind us that, okay, it's scary, but it's going to be worth it. It's going to be, take a risk, put your heart's true desire into action. You don't do one thing new, you're never going to open yourself up to the amazing possibilities that could come with it. Okay, that's everything I have for you. I hope this served for you. Happy new moon. If you ever want any more information about me, including you can sign up for my newsletter where I send out 4 reflective questions to your mailbox every new moon and full moon. My website, all of that is linked below in the description box. Thank you so much for choosing to be here with me, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Hello, everyone. Welcome. This is for everyone who picked group number 2. So you picked the affirmation, I listen to the wisdom of my body. So sometimes, we can get caught up in making a logical decision or considering practical things, or, which is important, of course, but, our body really does have a lot of guidance. It can guide us in a way, maybe if we're overthinking something, even just helps us get back to the present. So I listen to the wisdom of my body. Maybe take some time today to check in with yourself. Just feel a little bit of peace and comfort within yourself with that, and just having gratitude to your body for always bringing some wisdom or some awareness to you with that. So a nice little message to start off with. Today, again, just as a reminder, new moon is about new intentions. It's about calling things new. It's about kind of what you want to create or call into your life, new cycles with all of that. And this is a timeless reading, so if you're not watching it during the new moon, then just please have faith that there is a message in here for you to think about or connect with as you go on with your path of life. Okay, so like usual, I'm going to start with your tarot, and then I'll close with your oracle cards to clarify. Okay, so we have Knight of Wands, Page of Cups, 8 of Wands, King of Cups, the Hermit, Ace of Pentacles, 8 of Cups, the Moon, and Death. Okay, so, I feel like you accomplished something you wanted pretty quickly in the recent past. Okay, so we have Knight of Wands, which is like moving forward, taking action, something's happening, moving quickly, just deciding to do something and then just moving forward with it. That's Knight of Wands energy. Right into the Page of Cups. So Page of Cups is a new idea. It could be a surprise, a chance meeting, a chance situation happening. Just basically like you decided you wanted to take action on something and just got a lot of inspiration, a lot of maybe synchronous things lined up for you to be able to help you get this thing done, to move forward, to do all of that. So there was a lot of that energy. And then coming right after it, we have the Eight of Wands. So this is also about a lot of energy. This is about quick action. This is about things moving quickly, moving forward, providing insight for you. And then ending in this King of Cups, which is, I mean, just look at this sequence. And look, it's really interesting. We have Wands, Wands, and Cup energy. So, so this King of Wands, again, like this is emotional fulfillment. This is the king is, regardless of your gender, king energy is like, at the top dog, feeling really good, all of that. So that's King of Cups energy. And so again, I feel like there was something you decided you wanted to do, and then just things worked out for you. They played out for you. They just kept moving. And then action came in, things were able to move forward for you. You were able to make choices about what you wanted. Things were able to kind of come to fruition. And then again, King of Cups, like this is like emotional fulfillment. This is even if the thing you wanted wasn't a relationship, it could be a work project, it could be, any of those things. But knowing that you did get there with this King of Cups, and you kind of like, basically, I feel like this is just the process of reaching a goal that you had set for yourself. That's what this energy really feels like to me, of like you had set this goal for yourself, you wanted to make it happen, and there were a lot of synchronous things that happened, a lot of action happened, and you kind of, you reached there. So that's great. And then when we look at the center of your reading, we have the Hermit. So this is the theme of your reading. And so I think with this new moon, it's you're really doing some soul searching right now. There's like some reflective energy, maybe pausing for a little bit, maybe taking a little bit of time for yourself and just saying like, okay, once we get through a process, right, it's really easy to be like, oh yeah, that's just how it worked out and everything was fine, right? So this is kind of like a whole start to finish recap of some goal you wanted in your life, you achieved it, and this is the process to kind of do it, like have the idea, things happen, action happens, boom, I'm there, right? So I think with the theme of this, you can think about with this new moon energy of, how did I get there? What things happened? What lined up? Who did I have to be? All of that, but just really honoring, taking a moment to self-reflect and spend some time, intentional time alone with yourself. The Hermit isn't a fearful card. It's not something bad to get. It's not like, aloneness. There is a difference between being alone and being reflective versus being lonely. And this is definitely tapping into the energy of like being reflective, being thoughtful, being clear about who you are and like the limits and boundaries you want to set with all of that. Because what comes from there is the Ace of Pentacles. So this is, and this I think is in relations to to your goals and where you want to move forward. So maybe you had worked really hard for a certain thing, maybe your work, maybe a particular relationship, maybe a habit you wanted to break, or a thought processes you wanted to develop in your body. And so don't downplay this. Maybe if you've been working on it for a long time, but now you can take the time to reflect back and see, what happened with you, what came to be. So looking at all of that and then being reflective on it. And then I think with this new moon, you can think about the ways, what new thing do you want to call into your life? Pentacles it's about abundance, not just physical abundance, but emotional abundance, the way you think abundance, all of that. And so with the Ace of Pentacles, you can think about what is like a new thing that can be given to me? What is a new gift that can be given to me, or a new idea or a new something? So I think this is talking about just being reflective in the ways that you want to call new things into your life. So what's next, basically? I think with this new moon in Taurus, you can think about what's next for you. What do you want to have? What's the next goal you want to reach? Again, this process and really looking at like even closing a chapter on something in your life. Again, not negating it or not like letting it go, but this ending cycle and just being like, okay, if this is like, what do I want to think about is the next thing in my life, this new energy, this new moon energy. Because we have this card, Nine of Cups, which is about like a wish fulfilled, because look how many options you have. Okay, so I think this is really saying with this Ace of Pentacles, you can create and manifest the thing that you want, and you can choose you can choose which things are a match for you in the path you want to go down, because you do have a lot of options. But this is saying you do need to be reflective about it, and you do need to be thoughtful about it, and you do need to take some time to listen to yourself. Even going back to the card you chose for this group, I listen to the wisdom of my body, right? So giving yourself a little bit of time to like really be grateful and honor this completion process, and then taking time to be reflective and spending with yourself and really thinking, what abundance do I want to come forward, knowing I do have access to all of it. And so I think ending these two cards, ending your reading with these two major arcana cards, the moon and death, I think this is really, the death card is not scary. I love it. I think it's very healthy to have in a reading and to think about completing cycles and ending things. And so these two combined with the hermit, major arcana cards, right? So you have the hermit, then you have the moon and death, and the moon is about the subconscious. It's about things happening like maybe below the surface that we can't identify right away, or that are maybe shifting for us in a way that we can't see like in physical reality yet, right? So maybe more spiritual something. So I think the moon is saying there's something going on in your subconscious, things are changing. Maybe this goal you achieved, right? Like changed who you were as a person. And so you need to just allow space for that to kind of like come in and permeate with yourself. Basically, what I'm hearing with this new moon is for this group, if you're trying to push something, like don't. Like things are going to take the time they're going to take. And part of it is, there is a time for us to take action. There's a time for us to meet our goals and make everything happen. There's also a time for us to be reflective and thoughtful. And I think you're at a stage right now, it's not forever, of course, but it is just about being in a state where you are reflective and you are thinking, what's next for me? What do I want next? All of that. And so when we close this reading, we have the moon here. So just thinking about your subconscious, thinking about what things are running through your mind, your body, what programming you have for yourself. And then knowing that some things do need to come to an end. So some death is about things ending, so there can be more life afterwards. It doesn't mean you're doomed and there's no more life or abundance after that. That's obviously not what this means at all. This is about releasing some things that have served their purpose. It could be particular relationships, it could be a thought process, it could be a thought pattern, it could be something in your life that doesn't isn't serving you anymore, and it's just time to release and let it die, so that you can move forward to when you begin to think about what do you want to have and what do you want to have happen. So when you are being reflective, I think this is, you can set some intentions and think about what's the subconscious programming I have with myself, but also what are things I need to let go or release if I want to move into this next layer of my life. It could be views about yourself. It could be things that you've done in the past that don't serve you anymore. I mean, any and all of that is just really, just what you can think about with this death card of letting things go. Okay, so let's go with your oracle cards. Okay, so I think we'll start with Robin. So this is from Birdkin Messages deck. It's Robin. This is a 6. If that number means anything to you, Robin energy is about like a recharge. It's about like, very much mirrors this hermit energy. What this theme I get from this reading of, it is time for you to take a break. We don't need to be working all the time. We don't need to be pushing all the time. We don't need to be doing all this stuff all the time, right? It is about taking a break. There is a time where we do need to recharge and rest before we can move to the next chapter of our life. So that is definitely mirrored here with this Robin card of just being really intentional about knowing when is the next time for you to do something and how can you do it, and giving yourself a little bit of a break and time to rest right now is really coming through with that Robin, because look at this. We have these two cards. We have adaptation, and then I'll show you the first one, adaptation, from the blackberry. So blackberries maybe are significant for you. And we have new beginnings. Take this as an opportunity to rise from the ashes stronger and more determined. So I think here what this is, again, really mirroring like some of this energy of you have choices, you have options, and you can have something new in your life. So this adaptation, again, what I was just talking about with this death card, you have to let things go. You have to let them die. We have to grow and morph and change as we get into new layers of our life. And so that's definitely part of it. And then new beginnings, I think, can just remind you that just because you completed one cycle, met one goal, we are amazingly creatures that will grow and change for a whole lifetime if we are able to and have access and resources and the ability to do that. And so with this new beginnings, you can really think about, what do I want to call forward? What is the next thing for me with all of that? Knowing you do have options, and again, being reflective, really setting some intention with this new moon. If you're not sure the details of it, you can just think about how do you want to feel in like a next chapter of your life? What things do you want moving forward? You can ask those questions as well, even if you're not sure of like the logistical specifics of things. And okay, and then we have independent. Your independence is a foundation for your strength and success. So here, I think again is just reinforcing this message that you do have options, you do have choices, you are an independent person, you have you meet goals, you hit them, and then you want to move on to the next thing in your life. So this is about just really honoring that independence, not shying away from it, not feeling like you need to play yourself down or like, okay, I met one goal, so that's it. We don't have like a limit on what we can achieve in life or who we can grow into or how things can change or how we can have peace in our life, or become a new person every day, right? So this just is about being independent, and your independence is a foundation for your strength and success. Just remembering that again, you do have the ability to listen to yourself and to make choices that can serve you in this way. And then last two cards. So we have Sisterhood of the Rose, Beauty and Devotion, Priest, Mystic, Teacher. So I don't really get this. This didn't really come up in your reading too much. So maybe this might resonate for you around if you're thinking about something with like Priestess, Mystic, Teacher, Beauty and Devotion. If you're thinking about doing something like in the healing arts or with like metaphysical things, this might be a time for you to explore some of that and how you can think about that might come into your life. Maybe not for everyone because it's not super reflected in the tarot, but for some of you, you can think about what are the ways that you want to show up, with some of this like more mystical, metaphysical energy in your life. Because we need all the help we can get, okay? And then last one is the universe has my back. So just a reminder that while you are doing this internal work, you are thinking about what's next for you, what you want to call forward in your life, all that. Just remember that you are guided and supported, even if it doesn't feel like it. There is a bigger picture. There is universal forces at work that we can't see all the time that are looking out for us. Again, even if we feel like they're not sometimes. Okay, it's like they are there. And this is just, again, a good reminder that the universe does have your back, and you are meant to thrive and, enjoy this lifetime while you're here. Okay, that's everything I have for you. I hope this serves you. If you ever want any more information about me, all that is linked in the description box. If you feel called to, I have a newsletter I send out every new moon and full moon that has 4 reflective questions that will go right to your mailbox. You can sign up below my website. All of that information is linked down there. And thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Hey everyone, welcome. This is for everyone who picked group number 3. So you picked the card that said, I let grace lead the way. So with this beautiful staircase behind it. So this is just really saying there's a message here for you of just go one step at a time, one thing at a time. All you have to do is just do the next right action you can in front of you. And that when you are moving from a place of like deep integrity and grace and peace within your heart, then you'll be shown the way. So I let grace lead the way. Just a reminder to, you will be shown one thing at a time and just do one next right action, then one next right action, and all that is going to add up for you. So a nice little lovely message to start off this reading. Just a reminder, new moons are about new beginnings. They're about calling intentions. They're about things that you want to bring forward in your life. And so my intention with this reading is to hopefully give you some insight. Maybe some things will come up. You'll get a message that might trigger some thoughts for you about what you want to call into your life and all of that. So like usual, I'm going to start with your tarot and then we'll have your oracle cards at the end. Okay, so we have the World. Then we have King of Wands. Then we have 8 of Swords. Knight of Swords. I just love this. 4 of Wands. 9 of Pentacles. Ace of Wands. Knight of Cups. And 3 of Wands. Okay, so where do I want to start? Okay, well, the theme of your reading, so the card in the center is this Four of Pentacles and Four of Pentacles, Four of Wands. Okay, and so with this Four of Wands here, this is like gateway energy. This is like wishes fulfilled. This is the 1111 card also. So you can see there's like a couple and they have their castle and like this beautiful, it can look like an archway. So the theme of this reading is really about wishes fulfilled. It's really about like all your dreams coming true, all of that type of energy. So we'll start with that. But yeah, I think when in the beginning of this reading, we have the world, and the world is about cycles completing. They're about things ending. They're about, you reached, you went through this one cycle and you reached the end, and it's time to move forward with that. So the world is definitely about like a cycle ending. Maybe there was something with this next to the King of Wands, and this King energy, regardless of what gender you identify with. King of Wands is like King energy, it's top dog, it's all the way up there. So I think this is saying the end, you're not going to get to end a cycle being the top dog, but there could be this cycle around, you know, like maybe transitioning out of something in your life, and not in like a negative way, but just like it's time to leave something. Um, and just remember that like, okay, this isn't a thing that's serving me anymore in some way, shape, or form. So really, if you thought about, and like again, this doesn't feel like a painful loss or like a rip away type of thing. It just feels like a cycle has ended and you have chose to stay in your power and stay in your integrity and like move on to something that might serve you, but you're ready for the next chapter of your life. It could be a relationship, it could be a job, it could be a cycle within yourself. Just take it how it resonates, but something with this, because you can see we have the Eight of Swords and Knight of Swords. So it just seems like the energy I'm getting from these two cards together is like Eight of Swords is, when we kind of like set ourselves up for, there's no more excuses to not leave, right? So you see this person's wrapped up, but like not really. The bandage is kind of loose and the swords are just kind of sitting there. It's not really like, so it's basically to the point where we kind of have had enough, and then putting that right next to the Knight of Swords is like we're ready to move forward, we're ready to take that action, we're ready to get to the next layer. Like, see, this is a fast moving card, right? This guy's like ready to go. Like he has one of these swords. So it could just be that you realize this one cycle could even have been something peaceful, but this cycle has ended, and you've done enough, and now you're in the place where you can see that the excuses or things of maybe why you thought it wasn't time to move forward, um, aren't actually real, aren't actually harming you, and then you get very motivated to take action towards that, or to decide that like it's time for this next layer of your life, this next thing in your life, um, and you decide it is time to move forward towards this abundance, this dreams comes true, this everything you want in your life. It's like sometimes it's good when we get sick of our own shit, because now it means, okay, now I know I'm ready to move forward, right? Before, if maybe we were complacent with it, or it was just kind of like something that was happening to us, maybe we weren't that super motivated to take action. But this is really, we get sick of our own shit, sick of our own excuses, and now this Knight of Swords is moving forward to like this really abundant Four of Wands energy. And what we see on the other side of it is like really amazing, is Nine of Pentacles. So this is like, again, someone who has a lot of abundance, either strolling through their garden, all these things around them, just a lot of like really wonderful take care of yourself energy. So the vibes I'm getting from the beginning of this reading is more of like something finished, and maybe you just realized you were settling in a way that you don't need to anymore. And again, it doesn't feel like anything super dramatic or super intense, but maybe for this new moon, think about ways that like, okay, well, I thought I could only make this much money, but oh my God, I just realized I'm settling. Why am I doing that? I can run into like this next layer of my life, right? So, I think this is really just saying like, there's a cycle ending and now you're ready to grow and expand into this next layer of you. So it could be about, or like in my relationships, I only expected this, but now, okay, I'm ready to move into this next layer of this thing. Or in the way I treat myself, I thought, well, I could only do this or this thing, but actually the truth is there's way more abundant things than that going on in life. So I think this is just about the realization that sometimes the only thing holding us back is ourselves, right? There's no other people on this card. There's nothing like, the swords aren't in that person, right? So it is just about knowing sometimes the only thing that holds us back is our own mind. And so, yeah, just knowing that if you were say this person, they got it all, right? They're strolling around, they got this. So what are some ways maybe you might be limiting yourself that you weren't even aware that you might have been doing? And it's no judgment, we all do that. We all operate on a certain level, and then when it's time to expand, we can. So just think about the ways maybe you might have been judging yourself, you might have been not been showing up for yourself. And then with that is going to come Ace of Wands, which is about new ideas. It's about creating something new, pulling something from thin air sometimes, right? So we have that Ace of Wands energy of like, okay, well, I realized, I was only asking for this when I could have this thing in my life too, or I thought I could only have this thing, but actually I can have this too. So this is about brainstorming ways that maybe you have just been kind of like getting by with certain things, or ways that you might have been selling yourself short. And again, it's not a judgment, it's just some realization. And then starting to take slow action towards that. So you can see, so I feel like this is Knight of Swords is very like, holy shit, let me move right away, right? This is like immediate energy. And then Knight of Cups, he's a little more calm. He's a little more, it's like slow with all this. So when we have Knight of Cups energy, it is a little more slow moving. It is a little more patient. And it is a little more like, okay, go at a pace that's, the right thing. So I think, with this new moon, you can think about what are ways I have been selling myself short, and how can I start, like what things could I do to start to activate some of that energy? And then how can I move through it? And then look at this beautiful Ace of Wands into the Three of Wands here. So this is again about choices. So I feel like once you start that brainstorming process, right, things get more clear as we're moving forward, right? With clarity comes, clarity brings what? Clarity comes from action. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say. So clarity comes from action. So the more you start to think about or take steps of ways of, maybe your realization is, okay, I know actually I need to take way better care of myself. I just wasn't doing the best I could do, or what I deserve, or whatever. And so it's like, okay, well, what can I do with that? And you'll see this Ace of Wands can turn into many options, right? Maybe you had one idea, and then once you started doing that, like the wheels get turning and things keep going, and you have all these ideas, and now you realize, actually, I can do many things. I have three choices of what I want to do. I have a lot of options for how I want to take care of myself. So I think with this reading for you all, with this new moon for group 3, you can think about, how can you expand on things that are currently in your life right now already? And just going back to this card, I Let Grace Lead the Way. Again, that's really mirrored at the end of this reading, the last 3 cards of your reading, of like, just do one thing and then take a little bit of action, and then more options will come up for you with that. So really just not really worrying about too much about how am I going to get all 4 of these wands here? How am I going to do all this? It's actually a really beautiful progression, because we start with 1, then we move into 3, then we have the 4. So just knowing that things will unfold as you keep moving. You just take one step at a time. You do the things you can do for yourself, instead of like trying to focus so much on everything outside of you. Okay, let's look at your oracle cards. Okay, very beautiful. Okay, so first we have Starling, which is an 8. If that number resonates for you, this is from the Birdkin Messages deck, which I really, really love. Starling is about restructuring. It's about kind of like, just basically what we're talking about. This really mirrors your reading a lot of like, when it's time to do something new in our life, or have a new situation, or choose something different, we just do need to have this new restructuring energy of like, okay, that thing didn't work for me, so now I need to choose something else. Or this thing didn't work for me, so now I have to, just kind of restructuring your life. And that's again what I was talking about with the end of this reading, of like, we can make a decision and then go from there, but along the way you like kind of adjust as you're moving. The idea you have in the beginning usually isn't the idea you have at the end, and part of that process is just trusting like the flow and the change with all of that that can come out. And then just going along with that, we have mystery with this. And so this could just be, again, just having faith in the unknown, knowing that you're not going to know all the pieces of the puzzle right away. You're not going to know everything you need to do right away. You're not going to know, like, again, everything that's expected of you every minute of you're not going to have the whole journey figured out when you start. So just, I think, leaning into that mystery, trusting it a little bit, not trying to control to the point that like, it doesn't feel good. Like that's not what we want to do with the mystery stuff here. Um, and yeah, going along with that, we have my happiness is a direct reflection of my level of faith in the universe. So again, when we think about mystery, when we think about restructuring, when we think about, I think this is just a nice little message to say that um, sometimes the ego can convince us that while we're working towards what we want, we need to be miserable, or if we feel happiness or gratitude or peace in any moment, then we'll suddenly stop trying to work towards the things we want. And that's actually the opposite. It seems counterintuitive, but that's the opposite of what happens. And so it's like when you do have faith, when you are able to be like, okay, I will figure it out along the way, I can move forward in a pace that's right for me, that is going to directly contribute to you feeling peace, love, and gratitude in the current moment, and knowing that things are going to work out, you are going to figure it out, you are going to reach your goals. It doesn't mean that, you have to judge yourself or not feel confident you're going to reach your goals. It just means like you're allowed to enjoy your life, and you know that you're going to continue to work towards those. So, and then we have this one. So don't back down, stand up for what you believe is right. So I think this is, if there's just a message of integrity or just a message of like, don't take the easy route. So when you're thinking about things to do, maybe part of, maybe why you sold yourself short before is because you didn't see a way that the way you wanted it to happen could exist with the way things currently are. Or maybe you want something, but it's associated with like people who maybe don't act in their integrity all the time. So just thinking about, don't back down, stand up for what you believe is right. There is a way to do things that we desire if you're coming from a pure place with good intentions. And so just because maybe you haven't seen that modeled for you before, you don't need to sell yourself short with that. Okay, and then we have magnify your intentions. We have baby's breath. Choose a specific goal to work toward. Your energy is spread out among too many ideas. Please bring your focus back to the key intention and let your angels help. So I think, again, this is just really with this new moon, it's like maybe you're focused on, I want this, and this thing. I want all of these things, all of this, whatever. But this is really saying just start with one thing, start with one, magnify your intentions. Just get really clear about just start with one thing, start with that, move forward, and then you're just going to get more abundance from that. And when we clean up one area of our life, when we put energy and focus on being more intentional in one area of life, that energetically bleeds into every other area of our life, and it's going to lift all of that up with us. So you don't have to worry too much about controlling every single part of it. It's going to be more about just focusing on one, starting there, and then trusting that that's going to, go to other places in our life and in our energetic field. And last one is birthing a new age, birthing new creations, dreaming a new world into being. So I think this is just really saying, for your own life, again, like this beautiful abundance we talked about, this is the theme of your reading, but it's also about the gifts you have are here to contribute to the world in general. And so knowing that we do need everyone has a part to play. You are part of a bigger picture, more than just yourself, your lifetime, the things you can reach immediately. So I think this is just a really nice confirmation of birthing a new age, birthing new creations, dreaming a new world into being. So just have faith that the things you want are part of a bigger picture, and to really listen to your heart, trust your body, and know that, when you elevate your life and the things you do, then that, like you leading by example, can also help and contribute to this new world so much. Okay, that's everything I have for you. I hope this served you. Thank you so much for choosing to be here with me today. If you ever want any more information, all of that is linked below. If you want to sign up, I have a newsletter that goes out every new moon and full moon. It's 4 reflective questions to your email inbox. You can sign up for that below, and everything else about me is all linked down there. And thank you so much for choosing to be here with me today, and I hope you have a wonderful day.